Hey, and I didn't plug in. So, anyway, hi, I think this is working. Let's talk today about the smear campaign. Welcome. Hello to everyone who's here. This is a very odd time. I realize it. My camera is on my webcam instead of my other thing. Anyway, we're all messy, but here we go. So, smear campaign and narcissists. Oh, it's a big one. It is frustrating. It is infuriating. There's no way to really do anything that counters it without somebody looking like they're covering something up or hiding something or protecting, overprotective. You know what I mean? So when you've been smeared by a narcissist, we'll talk about what that feels like, but let's talk about what the smear campaign does. So, hey, Belle and Chastina and Chris, welcome. And whoever else is coming in, hello. So, if this has happened to you, just start chatting about it because oh my goodness, the smear campaign. A narcissist, when you have separated from them in any way, whether they discarded you, you disappeared off the face of the earth, or you left them, you are planning to divorce them, they think you're about to leave them, whatever it is, they often begin smearing your name, talking bad about you, talking down about you, calling you crazy, all of that to other people in the world, to anyone in a social circle, to anyone that they can get the ear of, and especially to people who they know potentially might not like you, okay? Or people who will take this horrible smear and throw it out there and keep spreading more and more smearing all over the place, even if none of it was true in the first place. It doesn't matter about truth, you guys. Smear is not about truth. It's not about them telling their side of a story or their truth or anything like that. What it's about is them taking information, usually projecting the stuff they did onto you and telling other people that you are the one who was toxic. You are the one who is crazy. All of these things. They will list your psychiatric issues to other people publicly. Who does that, right? I mean, we're even afraid to say they're a narcissist because we don't know, right? We don't go around, well, some people might. and it gets to the point where you really truly can see the narcissistic traits, right? But if we are thinking, what we would say is there were a lot of narcissistic traits because we don't know. They will list a whole lot of psychiatric issues that you supposedly have. Some may be true, some not, right? But first of all, it's nobody in the public's business. And second of all, why are they doing it? So they're doing this smear to do what is called setting the narrative. They're creating a reality, a narrative, a story about the situation and about you that is what they want the world to see. And they do it in such a way that it is pervasive, it's insidious, it is so toxic. Excuse me, Miss Niece. It's so toxic and it's so horrifically damaging to somebody's reputation, to their name, to who they were, are, or, as a person. It's such an evil and dark thing for someone to do to another human being. And it can happen in small ways or it can happen in giant ways, depending on how large the narcissistic injury is that narcissist is feeling. They're basically sitting in the corner, pouting, thinking of ways to hurt other people so that they can look like the good guy. They can have attention. When you've taken away their supply because you've left or you refuse to let them hoover you, and they start smearing, what do they want? They want attention. They're screaming and having a temper tantrum, and they're pulling the attention from everyone else as it relates to you. It's disgusting, okay? It is. I'm going to read Love and Peace has some good words here. Vengeful and vindictive, wicked. They lie and say you are, I'm going to use other words here so it doesn't ding me here, toxic to the kids. It's all lies, pathological lies. Yeah, horrific. It really is. They are after supply, plain and simple, from everyone in the world. They're after attention. They're after looking the way that they think they are. They think, "Oh, it couldn't possibly be me because I know my thoughts. I'm all these good things. I'm all this amazing, right? And it must be them." But they don't actually think it must be them. They're like, If I point the finger at them, no one will look back at me. No one will question me." Half the time, more than half the time, I'd say a large, vast majority of the time, they know exactly what they're doing. They know that they are toxic. They know that they were toxic, or they behaved in a way that a person should not behave in a relationship, and they're covering it up. The smear campaign is a giant cover up. It is a giant cover up to protect the reputation of the narcissist and point the finger back at the survivor. It's plain and simple all it is. And it is, and you can't combat it, because if you combat it, you look like you're defending yourself. You look like you're just like way too, because how do we combat it? Someone's like, "Oh my gosh, you do this. You're a horrible person, blah, blah, blah." And you say, "What?" You don't just go like, "Oh, was that said? Hmm. Well, that's interesting," and walk away. No, what? Right? So you come at it with a giant reaction, because what the heck? Why is someone saying these things about you, right? And you know why, because you know who it was that you are no longer in contact with. But it's not something that you can convince people once they have been smeared to. It plants a seed in anybody's ear that something is off. Okay. So even people, I have had people smear people to me, even recently, that I'm like, it plants a seed. And so you have to fight, even knowing it's a smear against someone else. I have to fight the urge to think the thing that was planted in my head, even though I tend to see the big picture, even though I don't believe a toxic person. You see, it plants a seed, and that's the problem. And that's what they're trying to do. They're not only setting a narrative, they're planting seeds, they're indoctrinating people with a belief about somebody else that is not true. And they get away with it. Infuriating. And then what happens is a toxic person often, if they are vindictive enough, and if they have enough resources and enough information and enough commonality, like common friends, common groups, common workplace, whatever it is, where there's enough, where they know enough about your life, they will start finding people that you've either had disagreements with, other toxic people who have been in your life. So for instance, in a family, say you have a toxic mother and you have a toxic aunt and you have a toxic grandmother. We'll make them all women this time. Okay. So say that happens, that you know these people, but they don't all talk very often. They kind of do their own thing and have their life. If toxic mom wants to smear you, she will get one of those other two toxic people to also smear you. She will, even though she hasn't talked to them in 3 years, call them up and start telling them the thing that she's smearing about you to them, or plant it on a Facebook post. Okay, we'll talk about that too, how they use social media to smear. So she'll do that. And then you've got a whole system of narcissistic people out there smearing in all directions. It's gossip, you guys. It is how gossip magazines work. You read celebrity stuff and you're like, how much of this is real? Probably not a small fraction, right, of what you're reading, because this is how it works. It's a gossip chain. And it's harmful and it's toxic and it is incredibly painful, because you lose friends, you lose social groups, you lose jobs sometimes, you lose community, you lose spiritual community, you lose a lot through these smear campaigns. And that's their aim. Their aim is to take everything away from you and keep all the attention for themselves, so they come off looking squeaky clean and shiny. And not only that, but everyone feels sorry for them because you were such a horrible person, right? So it's infuriating. People can't see through it. Here's the thing. People don't see through it. Many people love gossip. Many people, even if they don't want to hear it, can't help but listen, right? Many people think, oh my gosh, I never knew that side of the story. I always wondered why they had such an angry face. So say you're with a toxic husband and you're just all the time scowling and frowning, right? And everywhere you go, you look sad and you look angry because you kind of are, right? And so then when they smear you to your friends and your colleagues and whatever, and they smear you and you think, oh, well, no wonder she had such a horrible look on her face all the time. She's an evil person. She's a toxic person. And yeah, so that's what happens. Okay, let me see what's going on in chat real quick here. And we're going to talk a second about how they smear you in social media. Okay. Hate, love, and peace, and hope for the future. Hello. And Kendra, you're struggling not falling into being vindictive myself. Yes. And see, that's the thing, is it creates this fight back and forth. But what is the fight? Think about it. It starts with an S and ends with a Y. Supply, right? The fight back and the vindictiveness back feeds them. Stop watering and feeding the narcissists that have been in your life. Totally disregard. What do you do about a smear? I mean, the best advice people give is ignore it. That's really, really hard. It's really hard. You can speak to people who you know are kind, fair, honorable people, right? People who aren't gossips, people who are like, wow, they said this about you. You can say, well, you know the truth. You know me. You know the truth. You know how I am. What you see is what you get. People are going to believe what they're going to believe. You can't force it. It's a really horrible situation. The more you react to it, the longer it lasts. The longer, because the thing is, here's the thing. Where is that? What was that? I was just watching something where, oh gosh, it was a movie where there was a thing that happened, and then they were like, hurry up, we only have this many hours to have something else happen so we can cover up the thing that happened. And so something else happened, and then so everyone's attention went from this horrible thing, boom, to this other horrible thing that happened, and everyone forgot the first horrible thing. And then the people that didn't want this to be seen found something else, so everyone looked the other way. That's how people are. Their attention spans aren't long enough to hold on to it. If they are, there's something wrong with that person's probably personality, because that means they are also toxic, right? Potentially, or they are so judgmental that it becomes toxic. So, okay. What are we saying here? You love the positive energy. Thank you. I'm trying to convey it. Although I'm pretty angry right now because smearing is one of the more infuriating topics. And even when you see it, I'm clearly keeping, even when you see it and you don't know the truth, but you know that what's being said is irrelevant. That's another thing. Okay, so they will take something irrelevant to life, irrelevant to other people, basically stuff that's no one else's business, and start smearing with it. And people, instead of saying, really, that's none of my business, or really, I don't even want to hear that about anyone. So why are you telling me? They go, oh, really? Oh my gosh, that must be so hard for you, because the narcissist is playing psychology on them and pulling at heartstrings and pulling at nerves and triggering people they know get triggered. That's another thing. They will go to people they know get triggered, and they will tell them the most triggering thing they can about you, making you the source, the perpetrator, right? And then the people who get triggered jump on a bandwagon against that person. It's right. Okay. Ansley, hello. I'm just starting to realize my husband has been smearing me to everyone we've ever known for our entire 25-year relationship, and I had no clue. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It is, oh my gosh, I don't know what you're feeling. I'm mad for you. I'm super angry that this happens to people, because it's hard enough to recover without this, right? It's hard enough to go through breaking the trauma bonds and deciding to leave after that many years, and realizing that your marriage needs to end. That's painful. And then to have the person that you loved and trusted not only do all the horrible things that led up to needing the divorce, but then smear you. Yeah. It's super sick. Yes, and, Chantel's right. Any reaction is satisfaction to these toxics. Any. Yeah. Um, okay. What are we saying here? Okay. Mm, I am let's see. I'm sorry. I got sucked into chat. It's hard to ignore when you do ignore it. This is hope for the future. It's hard to ignore. And when you do ignore it, they get louder or try something else to get attention and reaction out of you, but to get your good energy. Some of them are relentless, right? Some of them will keep going and then find a different angle and then find a different angle. And then, like you said, get louder for your good energy. Hopefully, in time, they find something else to place their attention on, or people get bored. Often people get bored and they don't want to hear it anymore. And the ones left listening, let them listen. Who cares? Right? Okay. Belle, it says, it's astonishing that we need to gray rock even in chat. Shout out for getting the channel going. Yes. Okay. Jennifer. Oh, wait, I missed the beginning. Oh, told my ex told everyone about my sexual assault in college. Oh my gosh, even the children. Don't even get me started, okay, with how they do this in front of the children. Your children. Anybody's children, but your children, their children. How they will smear you in front of the children. Who does that? Right? Toxic people. That's who does that. Even if somebody says to them, "What are you doing? Your kids are right there." Oh, let them hear. They know they need to know how toxic their mother or father is, right? Depending on who the narcissist is in the situation. Yeah. Said I was a man hater. Oh, of course you are. You're a man hater. That's why all the problems happen. What couldn't be because they were a hateful man, right? No. Lied about being kidnapped. Oh my gosh. Of course. Of course it was all your fault. I am so sorry. That is taking your most vulnerable experience in life, your pain, right? Something you've had to learn to survive through and have hopefully found some healing around, but maybe not, right? And not only using it to smear you, but sharing that personal information with the world and that is super frustrating. Um, hey, Tanya and Jen. Jen says, my husband ran off with my neighbor's sister and smeared me in the neighborhood. Of course, because they wanted to turn the attention onto you so they could go do just to go run off with your neighbor's sister. Of course, they had to make the neighborhood believe their new relationship was something about this sister saving this toxic person from you. Otherwise, the neighborhood would have been like, "Oh boy, there's some stuff going on there, right? About them." Okay. Let's see. What are we saying? Shastina. Okay, yes. Okay. Anything? Am I missing something? Hey, Shar. Hey, Sadie. My ex is telling people I'm crazy. Of course they are. Of course, right? Even called the police and lied to cover his true self. Oh, they'll do that too. They'll bring in the police. And the funny thing is, they'll even do that if they're criminals, if they are criminal themselves that aren't caught. Or I've heard of a lot of them who have been on the police force. And so they have the whole police surrounding having their back. It's yeah, of course. Ansley, sorry. He literally describes his treatment of me and tells everyone that's how I treat him. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're projecting everything that they do and making it as if you do it. They're lying about you being the one to do the exact things that they do. And they'll do it to it. This is why I don't go to therapists, you guys, with them. You don't go to therapy with a narcissist because they'll smear you to the therapist. They will get the seed planted in the therapist's head often. And some of them are pretty cunning and will do this in a way where they truly do look like the victim. Oh, yes. You're right about that. Threatening self-harm, they will do that too, right? That's not so much smearing as pity ploy, right? But similar. It's all manipulation, you guys. They're trying to manipulate the masses to make themselves look good because that's how important they think they are. They think the masses care about them. They think that the people in the world give a flying about them. And guess what? We don't. Right? We don't. We'd rather just live our lives and be like, whoa, that was a weird thing I just lived through. Bad memory, goodbye, and move on. All right. They're saying everything to others, everything that they are actually doing to you. Correct. Yes, thank you. That was worded much better than I said it, Hope. Hi, I see me. How do I stop my husband from nagging me, ordering me around like his servant? He definitely does a ton for us. And I want to do my share, but the menial task requests are so humiliating. How to live around a narcissist and not feel humiliated. There's a topic. I'd say you'd pick and choose where your boundaries are going to be with things. You preemptively figure out what they're going to ask. Like if you know that they're perpetually going, every time you stand up, they go, hey, babe, give me a glass of water, then you just get up and when you're up, get the water anyway. You know what I mean? Do it ahead of time. So it's not them ordering you around, but you preemptively doing the thing. I mean, if you're going to live with them, the unfortunate part is there's going to be manipulation and there's going to be a life of inequality and not feeling like your needs are met, but you're running around chasing everybody else's needs. So I would say slowly start putting boundaries in slowly. If you do it too fast, they are going to, react. And then you'll have a whole nother dynamic going on. I don't think you can stop them from nagging. I think what you can do for yourself is stop letting the nagging affect you. Stop taking it to mean anything more than the Charlie Brown teacher. That's all you got to hear. And recognize that I'm dropping F-bombs. I'm in a mood. I hate smearing. And when I see it happening, and I see it happening to people who are good people, are they perfect? No. Have they done things that are smear worthy? Maybe. But you know what? Private things that aren't, have we all done something that if a light was shown on it might make us not look so great? Probably. Even if it's, and then exaggerated, right? So they take a small thing and then shine a light on it, make everyone look at it and then exaggerate that thing to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. That's what they do with the smear. I'm laughing at you, potty mouth Sally. Okay. I'm not actually saying it though. A life of servitude. Oh, so if it's the case and you're going to stay, and let's talk live about that, about when we are staying, when someone chooses to stay in a relationship or can't get out, maybe not chooses, but has, for many, many reasons that could happen in life. Let's have a live stream about that next week if that works, because then we can get people in here who are going through the same thing and we can talk it through, because it's going to be individual and but there could be tips that could try on. I think the most important thing, I just have been doing a series of videos for when you can't leave or don't leave, either way. So go check those out, because there's tips on how to help you stay inside yourself and have your own sense of self. That's really what you're losing when someone's nagging you, right? Is your sense of being an autonomous human being that can make choice. So go back and watch those, and then let's talk next week more about that, if that's okay. Okay. April. Hi. Went to couples therapy with my ex. Oh, I bet that was fun. He smeared me and told the therapist that she was biased. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at It's just the same thing over and over, right? She was thrown off her game and tiptoed around him, of course, because not many people will sit there and look a narcissist in the eye and go, "Is that really what happened?" Because you know what will happen? They'll storm out. They'll storm out of therapy. They tiptoe around sometimes to sort of keep them in the room. A lot of therapists don't understand narcissistic abuse. I don't know that this was one of them or not, but a lot of them don't understand that this person can't be helped. A lot of therapists truly believe everyone can be helped, of course, right? There's nothing to help with a narcissist. They're out to manipulate. What do you want to help them do? Manipulate more? Because that's what's going to happen, right? All right. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. And yeah, it's not something I recommend. There's too many ways in which it can go wrong going to therapist and couples counseling with a narcissist. You have a person looking, oh boy. We'll see you later, Belle. Okay. Kendra, whoops, it jumped. Lise, yes. Why is it so hard to break the cognitive dissonance? I'm really struggling with it. Still thinking I'm a narcissist and he's a good person. And I know it's not true. Oh my gosh, because many reasons. Number one, have you spoken one-on-one with anyone, a therapist, a coach, anyone that can help you see yourself, help you see who you really are, help you see the truth of the situation kind of objectively from a distance, and then personally with you to help you take it apart. Does that make sense? Right now, it's like plugged in like two Legos. You got to pop them apart and see narcissist, me, and recognize these are two different people, and then see each person for who they are, so that you can allow that toxic person to be toxic, not to you. You don't allow them to harm you, but you allow them to be what they are, meaning you don't try to think they're something else because of the manipulations they're telling you. You stop buying the manipulations and then see yourself, the big picture of yourself. How are you in the world? How are you with your friends, with your family, with the animals, with nature, with by yourself on your own, with people at the grocery store, with the wait staff, with, like at a restaurant, with whatever. How are you in the world? And see that you are not like, there's no enmeshment with this toxic person. You're totally separate and you behave completely differently. If you were toxic in the relationship, if you feel like you were doing things you might not approve of, right? You were acting in ways that weren't very becoming. You were reactive. You were potentially even equally toxic to the narcissistic person. Even if you cheated, even if you lied, here's the thing. You're in a relationship with someone toxic. If you can separate the two and see what each person poured into the relationship, you will see most likely that you poured in a boatload of effort. You poured in trying everything you could possibly do to make the relationship better. You were probably codependent and running around behind that person trying to make everything just right for them so they weren't reactive. You were probably walking on eggshells so that you weren't saying the wrong things or looking with the wrong expression on your face, or, oh my gosh, don't you sigh. You know what I mean? Don't say anything that might possibly trigger that narcissist into a reaction, and then if you look at what they're putting in, they're pretty much the same thing over and over again. Love bomb, devalue, love bomb, devalue, devalue, devalue more, give you a breadcrumb, devalue, breadcrumb, devalue, and that's it. They're not putting any change, they're not putting in effort. They're putting in toxic. I say over and over, relationship, if you imagine it's a bowl, it's soup, okay? Two people are making it. And you might throw in some ingredients that don't taste very good, but you'll live, right? That's you in reaction. They're perpetually putting drops of poison, sometimes by the spoonful, sometimes by the cupful, poison, toxicity into the soup. Your relationship itself was toxic. You cannot be a healthy human being and the very best Kendra or whoever you are, right, in the world, in that relationship, in that setting. And so, yes, you may have been, if isolated and taken out and not seen as the whole, behaving in toxic ways in reaction to a toxic person. So that was a huge explanation, but there you go. There's a start. Sit with that. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk some more. Let's see. Hope. I feel like they're evil. or they're sick with a chemical imbalance. It's not a chemical imbalance. It is, because if it was a chemical imbalance, that'd be adjustable, right? That'd be medicatable. It is a personality disorder. It is their brain structure. There is no firing of empathy when empathy should be firing, if you're talking about someone who is not narcissistic, right? So it's not chemistry, is what I'm saying. It's and there's videos on that as well. Some people make pretty darn good ones, more sciencey people, right, that talk about it. But I have a couple as well on what makes a narcissist a narcissist. So okay, you suggested Ansley suggested marriage counseling, and then caught him on the phone smearing me. Smearing it to the therapist, of course. Setting the narrative. They're setting what they want the story to be before you even enter the building. Codependent. I was groomed that way, and I friggin' knew it. Yep. Okay. Okay. I was a stay-at-home spouse, says Roddy. Hello, Roddy. Clean, did laundry, any side jobs I got, I gave her all because it made me feel good to contribute. She owns the penthouse in the Bronx and has an income property in Florida. She's Let's see here. I'm gonna wait for your story to finish because I'm reading it as you write it. Oh, good, Kendra. I'm glad that was validating. Good. It was a lot of words coming out really fast. Okay. Okay, so smearing. Let's talk about, while Roddy's typing, let's talk about how when toxic people, how narcissists, not just narcissists, toxic people, personality disordered people, will use texting texting and social media. So it's an unfortunate thing. When people say narcissism is more prevalent, I don't think it is. I think it's just as prevalent as it's always been. I think there's just more ways for them to spread their toxic. There's more of it's just like everything. There's more of a global outreach toward everything, more of a way to access. They can smear you across the world. They can smear you in a country where they don't even speak the language you speak, because all they got to do is put it on social media, right? Make a TikTok about it, make a video, do whatever. They can just smear. And it's funny because I'm trying to be honest here without smearing them, without smearing the narcissist, because I'm just stating what happens, the way it happens, and why it happens from what I can see, right? And it can be taken and twisted and then thrown out there and say, look, this person's smearing. This happens all the time. So they'll take your words, they'll take half-truths, portions of what you do, portions of what you say, fragments, bits of information, and then they will use it publicly. And one major way often is social media. Everyone feels sorry for someone on a Facebook post when they post the horrible things going on in their life, and you get tons of attention. Well, that person tells that person, takes a screenshot, shares it over here, texts it over there, and suddenly the smear has spread all over. It's not schoolyard anymore. It's not even newspaper, right? It's just instantaneous and everywhere, and it is bullying. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry that all that is going on, Roddy. See, when they control everything and you slowly but surely lose yourself to it, it's horrible. Okay. Let's see. Jen, my narcissistic husband had me as a maid, nanny, errand girl, and secretary. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because often, that's not funny, but often when you leave, they'll still try to maintain that. They'll still try to make you the secretary or have you do their bidding. And the most satisfying moment is when you realize you're none of those things anymore. And you can say, that's not a me thing. Sounds like a you thing. Go take care of it, right? Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Smearing. Okay, so Have you guys ever been on the receiving end of the smear campaign? Not in the sense of them doing it to you, but hearing gossip or smear about another person or witnessing it happen to someone you know and not knowing what to do about it? That's a helpless feeling because you feel like, as a warrior and protector of survivors, that you might want to like stand up and let the whole world know that this is false. But what's that going to do? Think about it. Once the narcissist is at that point, when a narcissist is at the point of smearing, they've had a narcissistic injury. Their egos are bruised. They are, I picture like the great and powerful Oz, and he comes out from behind the curtain and he's just this guy, right? And he's no longer great and powerful, and everyone sees it. Okay, so he's that he or she is that right now. They are a smaller version of what they want the world to believe they are. And so they got to build it back up. They got to get behind the curtain really fast and get the whole illusion out in front of everyone really fast. And they're using you to do it. That is not the time for somebody else to go after the narcissist, because what's going to happen? Ooh, target number 2. Let me go and smear them too. Oh, target number 3. Let me go. And when you have going on, if you a work organization, anything where there's multiple narcissistic factors and people protecting the lie, right? People protect their lies so hard. For me, it's not worth my time and energy. I'd rather be taking care of things in a lighter way and finding ways to make them small in my mind and make the situation small in my mind, because I'm not here to battle them, right? It doesn't help. But it's frustrating. And okay, Ellen has seen that. Do you think they'd rather love bomb and to pay support? Yes, they will love bomb you to try and get out of paying support. Absolutely. If that's what you're asking. I sent a video of her throwing wine glass at me to her mom. Oops, mask fell off. And hopefully her mom responded to you in a way that was useful, because sometimes you do that and they will make excuses as to why they had to throw I had to throw the wine glass because he was coming at me, Okay. Kathleen says, I've had 3 wrong for me therapists in a row. Yes, come join us. Come join the group coaching, if nothing else. Yes. Not that not that I might be the right one. Who knows? I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. But it is a place that is hopefully validating, in the very least, right? Okay. He didn't just smear me to everyone, but smeared them to me as well. Oh, good one. Yes. And the reason they do that is why? So that you're isolated, so that you realize you have no one. And so that you guys won't compare notes. They don't want you comparing notes. And it's dangerous, because if you compare notes, like say there's a toxic narcissist and they are cheating, and the two, let's just say it's a he this time, and because we had mothers and grandmothers last time. So let's say it's a he's a toxic narcissist and he has 2 women or more, and 2 of the women that he's been lying to and cheating on find out, and they compare notes. Well, there's many times where one of those women is so completely trauma bonded, so with their head buried in the sand, right? Not looking at the red flags, not willing to see it, not wanting it to be true. And while they're talking the talk, they're not walking the walk, and they will then turn and start smearing with the narcissist against you to everyone that commonly knows you. So you got to be careful, right? It's triangulation, right? All right. Jen says, my husband smeared me to our kids as well. Infuriating. And it's, while we may say things that reveal the truth of the narcissist to our children, because for safety reasons, and for most people I know, do their best to keep it as neutral as they can without a lot of smearing going on. They will tell facts, but they won't do it in a smearing way. It's usually only as things come up directly related to the child where they might have to say, yes, mommy or daddy makes a choice to act this way. Whatever. Mommy or daddy has, struggles with telling the truth if the child gets lied to over and over again. Okay. Narcissists, it's almost a clear sign of either someone so deep in reactivity that they haven't healed enough to be able to like take a breath, right? Or an extremely toxic person, because people don't do that with their kids. It's horrible. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. I'm trying to I'm like, I think I'm tired. Okay. You have sound issues? Can you guys hear me? It's doing the thing so it looks like, can you hear me? Check my mic? You can't make out what I'm saying. When did that happen? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you Hello? Major Tom. All right. Hear me perfectly. Okay, good. Okay. All right. I'm gonna very carefully scroll back. I might have bumped something when I was scrolling because have a very wobbly um fender gal. Hey, not being naive. Is there a fender on the wall? There might be here. Um, but I've never heard of my ex-narcissist smearing me. I think it's because he knows no one would believe him. They don't all smear. They really don't. Um, Sometimes they play the victim in this way. I know I was no good to them. I know I'm a bad person. I know that they deserve better. And so what is someone gonna say? "Oh, poor you. You really have learned a lot through this. It's really good that you're so self-aware." I mean, there's one way, right? Or some of them just don't take the time and energy to smear. It takes a lot of energy and effort, and it's usually those who are so insecure and so afraid of being seen for who they are and for the toxic things they've done that they lash out and smear. So I'm not surprised. I don't think it's naive. I think it's just that some don't. Okay. Especially if their family or their friends really like you. Because how would that look? It would make them look bad. Okay. Okay, everyone else can hear. Okay, good. You can't post anything. I don't know, you guys. Anyway, we're gonna end in a minute. Anyway, so wow, I went past 30 minutes this time. Okay, so there's my talk on smear. I will probably make a video on the smear campaign as well. There's a lot of it going on, and it's one of those things that I wish there was an answer to that would be resolution for people. I wish it's one of those things like, how do you heal a trauma bond? Well, guess what? It's going to hurt, right? Like you can't just say, "Oh, magic sprinkles, you want some?" and it goes away. No, this is one of those things where the answer isn't what we want to hear. It's the leaving it be, stepping away, holding your head high, being proud of yourself, being you unapologetically, and the unfortunate part of losing people around the smear. It's I mean, you can try standing up to it, but unfortunately, usually what happens is it backfires, right? Stand up to it by being you, by being. And here's the thing, what about people that can't stand up for themselves? What about people who don't know what's happening? But people are, oh, it's just, okay. All right, I'll stop. Okay. What I missed something. I missed something. Oh, hi, Joy. It's also true. My sister was on speakerphone with my other sister, knowing full well I would hear, and my sister called me useless. I'm sorry. People just, yeah. Here's the other thing, if we're living around it, it's snowing out, you guys. Sorry, I'm distracted. If we're living around it, if you are still dealing with it, if you are in contact, okay, first, if you can go no contact, do. Then, if they smear, they smear. You don't need to hear it. If you hear it from the outside, your community and people, you just go, is that what they're saying? Well, you know me. You know the truth. You just brush it off. It's going to hurt. Okay. It's going to hurt. Take time to take care of yourself. Take a deep breath. Step away from it a second. Do things that bring you back to yourself. Return to sender, all that crap that is the narcissist's energy and toxicity being put on you. It's not yours, right? Let them own it and let them have it. Let them have it back. Just, cut the cord, so to speak, so that you're not attached or enmeshed with it anymore. If you can go no contact, go no contact. If people are horrible and vile to you because of a smear, go no contact with them. Your world may get more small, but that gives you more room to expand and be expansive instead of contracted with your energy focused on a toxic person. Expansive in that, like, you can focus on everything you want in life and you can have a better life without those toxic people or that toxic person. And if you can't get away from it, try and do that within yourself. Find things you love. Don't share it with the toxic people. Find other people who don't know the story and don't bring the story to them. Talk about things you like and enjoy and love, and have that separation so that you have contrast in your life and have some places to go where you feel nothing but healing and you feel nothing but content, right? Okay. And then also, as I said at the end of every video, if you need coaching, if you need group coaching, if you need people to talk to or peer support, check out the main description of every video. I hope it's in this one. If not, I'll try to put it in later. And get some help, okay? Because it's out there, and I'm here. And if not me, then find someone else that you jive with and talk to them, because it can, even talking one time to someone can open up your world, and it can help. Okay, I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna head out and look at the snow. Okay, bye. Take care, everyone. You are welcome. Expand your circle of healthy people. Exactly. Expand your life into joyful things. Expand your awareness beyond the narcissist. Yay! Bye.